The DDO is going to call out the 1 minute mark and we'll be into the final 60 seconds.
Top. H0 moins 1 minute.
All that's left to explain is the final ignition sequence. It starts when the yellow cryo arms pull back. Remember to watch for that. That gets the ball rolling. And then watch for this. At H0, the DDO will call out allumage volcan. That's the ignition of the main stage, the cryogenic engine. But we don't lift off yet. There will be a 7-second wait while the onboard computer checks the performance of the engine. It does this twice. If all is well, it gives the order to light the 2 solid boosters, and we go. We will let you watch liftoff of Ariane Space, flight number 225, Eutelsat 8 West B and Intelsat 34. Final countdown.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain. Allumage EAP, décollage. Les paramètres bord sont normaux.
So the arms swung back as scheduled. You saw it there. We had ignition, and you saw Ariane 5 begin her mission, rising off the ground here in French Guiana with a lot of fire. Right on time, at little past the original launch window, because we have the hold in the countdown. But we're fine now. The DDO says everything is okay on board with our 2 passengers, Eutelsat 8 West B and Intelsat 34. We are underway. The boosters providing over 90% of the thrust, propelling the launcher along its trajectory at ever higher velocity, getting her away from the pull of the Earth. And there's a lot to pull. Ariane's weight at liftoff, about 775 tons. Most of that's fuel. She's burning 5 tons of fuel every second, 2.5 tons in each booster, and the core stage burning another 300 kilos per second. Ariane now following the flight program in the onboard computer, which gives all the commands, including stage separations. We'll soon begin to see those. We are in the first of 4 flight phases. The first 3 are powered. The last is not. We'll describe each in turn so you can follow Ariane as she heads across the Atlantic. Right now, the first flight phase, the Vulcan engine and the 2 boosters are burning. The boosters will burn their propellant in just under 2.5 minutes, about 20 seconds to go. And they'll be the first we jet. You'll hear the DDO call out that milestone too. We're heading east over the Atlantic. The decision to build the site here in French Guiana made in the 60s when France wanted a new base, in part for its opening on the water, to allow for launches over uninhabited areas. On the animation, you saw the separation of the booster, so we've had that right on time. The confirmation by the DDO right on time at about 79 kilometers up. You see what that looks like. The other booster out of camera range on the left. The onboard computer detects that there is no more fuel in the tanks. Nice shot of Ariane rising. The dot of light is the core stage still burning. As they have no more propellant to burn, the thrust decreases and the computer senses the drop in acceleration. Coming up next on separation of the fairing, you see the logos there that's placed there by the customers. That's something of a tradition. We said 79 kilometers altitude, roughly. You can see on the bottom left is our altitude, on the right is our speed. Sometimes the figure is not exactly what you see on the screen. That's normal. That's due to a slight delay or lag in the telemetry coming in here. We've had separation of the fairing right on time. You see Eutelsat exposed to the elements there. Separation of the fairing given by 2 pyrotechnic systems, one horizontal and one vertical. These are cords that actually remove the fairing by a small contained explosion. We emphasize it's controlled, so there's no threat to the vehicle. We can separate the fairing now because we're out of the dense layers of the atmosphere at over 100 kilometers up. You can see what the jettison of the fairing looks like. There's another half on the right side out of camera range. Above 100 kilometers, there's neither friction nor heating, which could disturb the passengers. Liftoff's very noisy, and a noisy affair which shakes the launcher up. We could also discard any dead weight when possible to maximize the launcher's operation. We can do that now. The fairing weighs over 2 tons. We are in the second powered flight phase. The boosters have done their work. Only the single engine burning now. It'll burn for about 9 minutes in all. Our speed is important at this moment, and that's the role of the main stage. Its cryogenic propellant system is not only highly efficient, but provides a push that can last for a long time, like 9 minutes. There are different propulsion systems on the Ariane 5. Cryogenics, as used in the main stage, are more efficient than solid propellant, which is used in the boosters. Basically, solids are for getting us off the ground, away from the pull of the Earth. Cryogenics for more precision orienting of the vehicle, and they can allow for a stage to be reignited in another version of Ariane. We're going to go to a replay of the liftoff that happened just 5 minutes ago, so you can relive those exciting moments. Coming up, Ariane 5 is the heavy lift launcher. The other 2 members of the family, Soyuz, lifts middle-sized payloads, 2 and 3 tons, and Vega, the light lift vehicle, for 1-ton missions. Here's the replay. You can see from another angle. It's always exciting to live these moments of liftoff. We have cameras at several of the half-dozen observation sites that are stationed across the base. There's another one. It's a big one. It's a big 150 square kilometers, about the size of the island of Martinique, our neighbor, if you know Martinique. And these observation sites furnish us with shots from different angles. People also line the beaches to watch the launch, where the view is also quite good. Here's another angle. The closest observation site is called Toucan, and many of the VIPs are out there now. Toucan is closest to the base, about 4 kilometers. Ariane 5's liftoff there lights up the whole place. I don't know if you've ever seen it from there, but it's really something to watch. We should have more replay shots, including from Toucan, at the end of the broadcast. Some figures. The 2 passengers tonight are the 164th and 165th satellites to be launched on an Ariane 5. They're also the 318th and 319th to go into geostationary transfer orbit. 2 minutes to go, roughly, in the lower stage burn. On the right is Eutelsat, exposed to the elements. Under that, the black bell-shaped structure, that's called the Silda. That's a carrying structure that allows us to lift a second passenger. And underneath the black Silda is our second passenger, Intelsat 34. Underneath that is the vehicle equipment bay, and the long tube is the first stage, whose engine will be cut off in about a minute, and the first stage will be separated shortly after that, and we'll be into the second half of the mission when the second stage is lit. Our radar and telemetry signal has been picked up by our first downrange tracking station. That's over the border in Brazil at a place called Natal. Natal will see the lower stage burnout and separation at 8 minutes and 51 seconds, as well as the upper stage ignition. All of Ariane's trajectory has been designed to be followed from the ground. The launcher is sending radar and telemetry back, and a network of stations keeps constant watch on the health of her systems. Telemetry is launch vehicle data, basically. Information on about 1,500 parameters now being collected and transmitted back to the ground stations every second. These include indicators of Ariane's health and performance, and they come from pressure and temperature sensors, which record all of her functions throughout the flight. There you saw the shutoff of the lower stage engine. And we'll have in a moment, there it is, the separation of the first stage. And there you saw the engine light up on the second stage. 3 commands given by the onboard computer in 12 seconds. The main stage will fall into the Atlantic. You can see that's what's happening above. Will fall off the coast of Africa. Up in space, all is well aboard Ariane 5. Our speed, as you can see, approaching 7 kilometers per second, and our altitude approaching 200 kilometers. We're now into the third and final powered flight phase. It's a 16-minute burn for the upper stage. We'll burn until 24 minutes and 54 seconds. The upper stage, about the size of a small studio apartment, and its job is to take the satellites to their injection point. It also positions them for separation and then releases them into space. With ignition of the upper stage, the second half of the mission, we'll look more closely at the satellites. Eutelsat's fleet providing 5,800 TV channels that are received in over 270 million homes worldwide. Ariane 5 carrying Eutelsat 8 West B and Intelsat 34, the world's leader in launch operations tonight, lifting satellites for 2 of the world's leaders in satellite communications. Ariane Space orbits telecom satellites, but also satellites with many other missions. Rafi Musalian, CTO of Eutelsat, retiring after 30 years. Been at Eutelsat since 1985. We mentioned many other missions. The first flights of 2015 show how the Ariane family of launchers is a good fit for all of today's space applications, technology, navigation, telecom, civil and military, private and public operators. The February Vega mission launched the IXV technology demonstrator, the re-entry vehicle for the European Space Agency. In March, a Soyuz sent up 2 more Galileo satellites in the European GPS constellation. Vega in June orbited Sentinel, an Earth observation eye in the sky for ESA. In our next film, also on our first passenger Eutelsat, by its builder, Thales Alenia Space.
Je suis ravi de partager avec vous ce moment exceptionnel pour Eutelsat. Le lancement d'un satellite comme Eutelsat 8WB est un événement extrêmement important et chacun d'entre nous, chez Thales Alenia Space, est très fier d'y être associé. C'est aussi le 143e lancement d'un satellite Thales Alenia Space avec Ariane Espace. Superbe partenariat qui est amené à durer. Eutelsat est un leader mondial et une entreprise visionnaire. Et nous sommes très honorés d'être à nouveau à vos côtés pour un programme aussi important, et ceci pour la 25e fois. Eutelsat 8WB revêt une importance tout à fait significative pour la flotte d'Eutelsat. Il va non seulement en accroître la couverture, mais aussi servir les marchés très dynamiques de la télévision numérique, de l'Afrique du Nord au Moyen-Orient. Il est équipé des produits innovants et flexibles de la gamme SpaceFlex et fournira des services en bande KU et en bande C. J'aimerais ajouter aussi, non sans une certaine fierté, que nous sommes très contents d'avoir livré Eutelsat 8WB avec plus d'un mois d'avance, et ceci grâce à l'excellent travail d'équipe entre Eutelsat et Thales Alenia Space. C'est cet esprit d'équipe et de confiance mutuelle qui donne le ton de campagne humainement très marquante et émotionnellement très forte, la marque, je crois, de l'esprit qui règne entre nos équipes et les vôtres. Je tiens à remercier très chaleureusement Eutelsat, et en particulier Michel de Rosen, pour leur confiance renouvelée. Merci aussi à toutes les équipes pour leur travail et leur engagement. À celle de Thales Alenia Space, d'Eutelsat et d'Ariane Espace pour cette superbe campagne. Je souhaite à Eutelsat et à ses clients le meilleur pour Eutelsat 8WB.
Ariane Space has launched 70 satellites made by Thales Alenia Space. The Ariane 5 program began in 1996. Double launches are its specialty. Tonight's no exception, with Eutelsat 8 West B and Intelsat 34. We launched 12 times in 2002, and we're on track for another record year at the space base. We're currently preparing 3 launches at once. In early September, a Soyuz will carry 2 more Galileos for that navigation system. Also in September, Ariane Spaceflight 226 will orbit another 2 telecommunication satellites. And Vega's 6th flight in November will orbit the LISA Pathfinder space probe for ESA. In all, after tonight, another 2 Ariane 5s, 2 Soyuz, and 1 Vega. Ariane Space and Intelsat, our second passenger, have been partners for 30 years. Their relationship goes back to 1983 with launch of Intelsat 507. Intelsat 34 will replace Intelsat 805 in Galaxy 11. This latter was launched by Ariane Space in December 1999, Flight 125. Turning to our second passenger, a film now on Intelsat 34. You'll be hearing from the CEO, Steve Spengler.
Thank you for joining us for the launch of Intelsat 34. There is nothing more exciting than seeing a rocket take flight with one of your satellites. Today's launch of Intelsat 34 is no different. Intelsat 34 will be used by millions of people over its 15-year life. The satellite's mission reflects the breadth and depth of Intelsat's satellite solutions and the services that we deliver to customers. From content distribution for customers such as Fox, HBO, European Broadcasting Union, Globalsat, and Encompass, to an expanded direct-to-home platform for Telefonica Brazil's GVT, Intelsat 34 is a shining addition to our sector-leading Latin America video neighborhoods. It also enhances our global mobility platform, allowing aeronautical and maritime providers, such as Airbus Defence and Space, to expand their throughput over the highly trafficked North Atlantic. Today also marks a milestone with SSL, the launch of our 50th satellite together. Thank you, SSL, for your partnership and dedication. Together we can be very proud of what we contributed to a connected world. Thanks also to the employees of Arianespace. We rely upon your expertise and look forward to the completion of this mission and our next, the launch of Intelsat 29E. To the Intelsat mission team, we appreciate your hard work on our behalf. Lastly, thank you to our customers for your continued trust and support of Intelsat. Wishing us all the best of luck for a successful mission. Go Intelsat 34.
It was a relatively short program from signing of the contract to launch Intelsat 34 to today, 26 months. Intelsat 34 is the 55th Intelsat to be orbited by Arianespace, and there are 4 more in the order book. Intelsat 29E. Ken Lee of Intelsat said this morning that the campaign for this launch was so smooth that it was boring, which is, of course, what you want. The other Intelsats, 29E, also called Epic 1, 33E, Epic 2, and Intelsat X, which is Epic 4, plus Intelsat 36. Intelsat's first satellite, Intelsat 1, you might remember, was called Early Bird, launched in 1965, the world's first commercial satellite. It weighed, anybody remember? 150 kilos. Intelsat 34 tonight weighs 1.7 tons without fuel, 3.3 tons filled. It will operate with Ku and C-band transponders like Eutelsat 8 West B. The Ku band will serve the North Atlantic Ocean for maritime and aeronautical applications. The C-band providing service for the Americas, Western Europe, and Africa. We are being followed by our next tracking station, Libreville in Gabon, on the west coast of Africa. More of the mission in a moment, but for now, another word on Intelsat 34 from Space Systems L'Oréal.
SSL, the world's leading manufacturer of commercial satellites, built Intelsat 34 for Intelsat, the leading provider of satellite services worldwide. Intelsat 34 will meet the growing demand for direct-to-home television and media distribution services in Latin America, and it will provide broadband for maritime and aeronautical companies serving the North Atlantic. The satellite is based on the powerful and highly reliable SSL 1300 platform. With 79 SSL 1300 satellites on orbit today, it is the world's most widely used satellite model. This is a result of its established reputation for quality and its versatility to support a broad range of applications and innovative technology advances. Intelsat 34 uses SSL's flight-proven electric propulsion system, which is actively in use on 17 satellites with more than 40,000 hours of successful on-orbit operation. Intelsat 34 is the 50th satellite that SSL has built for Intelsat and represents a long-standing partnership between the companies. That partnership is built on trust and has lasted more than 35 years, with nearly half the satellites in the Intelsat fleet designed and built by SSL. SSL would like to thank Intelsat for its confidence over the many years, and it also thanks Arianespace, which has worked with SSL on more than 50 launches. With Intelsat 34, the SSL team, together with its partners, once again has demonstrated its commitment to provide a satellite destined for success.
Acquisition of our final tracking station at Malindi, Kenya, due right about now on the east coast of Africa. There we are, picked up by Malindi. Ariane 5 crossing Africa in about 5 minutes. The station will see the upper stage burnout and both satellite separations and the end of the Ariane mission. Ariane Space has launched 48 satellites built by SSL and its predecessors. Another 13 in the manifest, including Intelsat 36 and Eutelsat 65 West A. Currently, SSL with 79 satellites operating in orbit. company founded in the San Francisco Bay Area in 1957 as a division of Philco. Maybe some of you remember that, the Americans out there. Philco began launching satellites in 1960. We're coming up on cutoff of the upper stage engine in less than a minute. We will have extinction of the upper stage. The satellites will be separated when the launcher is moving at between 8 and 9 kilometers per second. Why? Well, it's close to the speed at which the Earth turns, 10 kilometers per second. That's also 36,000 kilometers an hour. Once they are released by Ariane, the satellites can get to that speed and to their proper altitude by firing their apogee motors. These motor firings are part of their early operations, usually occurring in the first few days after separation. We'll be back with more on that. And then once at this speed, they are capable of producing coverage over a specific geographic area because they're in what is called the geostationary orbit. They appear to hover over one region, but they're actually flying at the same speed as the Earth. On the animation, you saw the cutoff of the upper stage.
Extinction de l'ESC sur commande de guidage.
And the DDO has just confirmed it. You see our speed in the lower right, 9.3 kilometers per second. That's about the top speed. Emmanuel Macron, the French economic minister, on hand tonight, and we'll be hearing from him after the mission. By the time Ariane separates Eutelsat 8 West B at 28 minutes and 17 seconds, she'll be moving at just under 9 kilometers per second, about 8.9.
Acquisition de la télémesure lanceur par la station de Malindi au Kenya.
At the Silda separation, remember Silda's the carrying structure for the second passenger, that comes at 30 minutes and 39 seconds. The speed drops again to 8.6 kilometers. And for separation of Intelsat 34, which comes at plus 41 minutes 51 seconds, speed down to 7 kilometers per second. So after hitting our maximum speed, we're now sailing without power. The powered flight phase of the upper stage ended when the onboard computer judged that the targeted orbit had been attained. So we're in the final flight phase, not powered, and we're coasting. What's happening is the upper composite, and you can see it there, being spun up, beginning a series of maneuvers to reach the position